I'm Russell Kane, and this is
Auntie Christine.
And you're listening to Nextbase's first ever Summer Unlocked podcast. It's the one that's trying to keep you and whoever is in your car, even if it's just you, amused all the way to your destination. Now, Brits famously, we're a nation of clogged roads and motorways that aren't wide enough. So even in the best of years, the holiday roads are busy during bank holidays and summer holidays and Christmas holidays and all of them. But this year, especially for obvious reasons, people aren't going abroad as much. So we really having to make the most of our wonderful country, and that means making the most of our not so wonderful roads. I mean, some towns are so inaccessible. You go past a B road, into a C road, to get into Norwich, for example. How are you supposed to get into Norwich? The motorway runs out, the A road runs out, and eventually it's just like a pebble road with Mr. Tumnus at the end of it waving you through. So the roads are so slow during holiday season. I'm here with Auntie Christine trying to work out ways to alleviate that and also to provide some chat and amusement for you. You can stick us in your ears and hopefully we'll give you a bit of inspiration. You can reflect on other holidays and before you know it, you're in Llandudno, which is, as we know, Christine's favourite place in the whole United Kingdom.
Yes.
United at the time of recording before Welsh independence takes place in 2043. So happy 2043 if you're listening in the future. Now, I'm calling this episode Holidaze and Holidaze with a D-A-Z-E because some of us have very different ideas to others about what makes a great holiday. We are definitely built different when it comes to what we like. A lot of people listening to this can think of nothing better than sticking on a backpack, a couple of hiking sticks, out into the bracken, not knowing where we're going to stay that night, a B&B, who cares, as long as we're exploring. Whereas other people, they want to put the all-inclusive wristband on. They don't want to worry. I like to know what my bill's going to be at the beginning of the week. Ideally, I would have all my all-inclusive food in a bucket, another bucket underneath my pelvis, and I just wouldn't leave a spot. I would feed and evacuate for a week, and I would only check out once I was in profit from my all-inclusive resort. That was what my dad used to say. You keep eating, boy, till we're in profit. The money they're charging per head, even if you don't like smoked salmon, you'll eat it because it's the most expensive food on the buffet. And when you're working class, you eat to win. Completely different types of holiday. But when we're talking about archetypally British holidays, I mean, Christine, you really love a cruise, a UK-based cruise. And your most postponed trip that you're absolutely desperate to do, postponed from 2020, postponed in 2021, is to see your idol, the person I think you would faint if you met, Jane McDonald.
Yes.
What is it you're looking forward to so much about getting on a boat with Jane McDonald? For people who don't know who Jane McDonald is, she's not related to Ronald. She's not the Hamburglar. Was made famous in a series called The
Cruise.
The Cruise, that was it. And you're a super fan, aren't you?
Yeah, she's lovely, yeah.
So what is it
she's
about...
She's got a beautiful voice and she looks a lovely person, you know.
What is it about... See, a lot of people cannot understand being trapped on a boat as a holiday. To me, I think I would... quite real cabin fever, not just metaphorical cabin fever. I would get fever and be in a cabin. But for some people, find it appealing. What is it you like about the idea of just being on this boat? No one gets on, no one gets off. Jane McDonald every night. Does that not scare you, just being trapped on the high seas like that?
No.
Why?
I don't know. It was just what we were going to do, you know.
But have you been on many cruises before?
No.
Oh, right. So you don't even know if you like cruises.
I've been on a boat, but that's all.
It is different, isn't it? I like my Lilo, so I thought I'd stick myself on a ferry for 2 weeks where I can't get off. How long is the Jane McDonald cruise? Is it
It's a week.
Really? And where are you cruising to? Is it all just around the water?
From Southampton, you get your cruise.
Yeah.
It was all over. We were going to go to Spain.
It's international. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it was a week one. It was very. We were looking forward to it, and it was being cancelled twice.
It's next year though. You're going, aren't you?
Well, we don't know. We got the money back in the end. Oh. I was going to treat everybody, you see, and it didn't happen. So this is why we want to go to Vegas for my big birthday next year.
Indeed, the big 5-0, Christine. We're looking forward to it. So. Now, another type of holiday where you're all cooped up and you can't get out is the caravan trip. Now, you've just done one of those. We spoke about it in a previous episode. Talk us through 6 family members in a caravan. How does that work? Now, I don't mind a caravan. I like it if it's just me and Minna or me, Lindsay and Minna. But the idea of 6 people in one caravan, was that not a little bit claustrophobic?
It was okay in the day,
Yeah.
or was watching the television at night. But when you go to bed,
Go on.
you can hear a pin drop.
Who's the snorer then?
I'm afraid it was me.
Really?
Yeah.
Rocking it off its foundation.
Yes.
And I don't like the tiny loo with the paper door that pulls across.
Well, we had 2 toilets, so we were lucky, really.
Yeah, but the way sound travels, I'd be bunged up by the time I got home. I'd probably pass a diamond on day 3 or something. I'd be so impacted.
Well, I couldn't hear myself on there, but I was told I snored. And then you could, when I moved and turned over, or tried to turn over, you can feel the...
Wait a minute, hold on a second. When you turned in the night, you rocked the whole caravan.
Well, that's what they said, yeah. They could hear me moving.
I could hear you moving.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was told.
Wow.
But I was only in a tiny single bed, that was all.
Yeah.
My daughter was in the double bed, but I was in the other one, you know. So
Now,
it was hard to move.
we've been on a few different trips together, but I think my favourite holiday that we've done was what I did for my birthday in 2019. I managed to persuade a lot of people that aren't into stuff like this, and there was no travel restrictions at this point. I chose to do it, to go glamping in the UK for my big holiday. I did it. If you want to know the precise campsite I went through, feel free to Google and stalk. It was the Hayfield campsite. And the glamping
In the
hut
Peak District.
in the Peak District, absolutely lovely. And the glamping huts, they weren't
They were posh ones.
They were, but they still didn't have. Like, they didn't have a shower. They didn't have a toilet. They had nothing like that. You had a little bit of a hob in there. You had a bed to sleep on. I absolutely loved it. We all sat round drinking wine until the early hours.
On the balcony.
The baby monitor stretched as far as it could, so we could all get drunk on cider in one hut while the baby slept in the other. It was fantastic. But we need to talk a little bit about what happened the next morning, Christine, because I don't know if you've ever been glamping. To be fair, it is a lot easier for men when we go camping. I've just been for another camping trip, funnily enough. I got back a few days ago. And if you need a wee in the night when you're a man camping, it's pretty easy. In fact, if you plan in advance and you face your tent to the bushes, how can I explain this without being graphic? You don't even need to put your whole body out of the tent. You simply need to unzip enough to project your wee from the tent flap into the bush and then very carefully re-zip. Otherwise, you'll be in a documentary on Channel 5. So what I'm saying is, as a man, you can just put your pelvis, if I could put it politely, out of the tent and re-zip. So I do acknowledge it's easier for men. Same with glamping. I was able in the dark of night to go round the back of the glamping hut and wee into the bushes. For a woman, you don't really want to be, wandering off in the dark to squat in the bushes. So this was Christine's strategy. We were like, how are you managing it, Christine, to go all the way through the night? You're a 2 minutes walk from the toilet. The next morning, in front of everyone else, cooking their breakfast, sizzling away, children playing, Christine walked with her trademark walk, which you have to see to believe, which is where she doesn't use any knees, very much a side rock walk, with a bucket of wee all the way from her tent to the shower block.
Yes, a pound bucket from the pound shop.
It's quite some image seeing Christine with her pound shop bucket of wee the next morning. Very, very funny. Did you enjoy that trip though, glamping?
Oh, it was lovely. Yeah, we all had a lovely laugh, didn't we? And we had obviously a drink at the night time. We sat on the balcony. It was really nice. And I slept like a log, Yeah. There were lovely mattresses.
We could feel it when you turned, but you were fast asleep. But do you think we've lost something? You know the way now all we want to do is get on a posh flight, go to a posh hotel in a posh country and have loads of sunshine. Do you think like a whole generation of British people have forgotten how to just enjoy a simple holiday like glamping? Do you think maybe what's happened in 2020 and 2021 has helped people to remember you don't need to spend thousands of pounds and clog up the planet with airline fumes? Or do you think that because working class people, like the families we come from, have now had a bit of a taste of luxury, we can't go back? Do you know what I mean?
And they should do, because it's more fun. I couldn't go in one of those little tents.
Like a normal tent on the floor?
Yes, I couldn't do that.
Why?
But I couldn't get up if I if I got down. But
Would you be like a
You've got to
beetle?
think about my age, as well,
Yeah.
Russell.
Yeah.
But where we stayed, it was lovely. We could recommend it, couldn't we?
What about if there was a tent that was like waist height, so you could sort of launch into it waist height? It's just the height of the tent.
Well, as long as it was padded, I'd be all right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Padded waist height tents. I've just developed something for the septuagenarian market. So that really was, for me, seeing you carry that bucket of wee across the campsite is one of my life's highlights. But talking about caravanning, is it true that once you fell out with your son so bad that when he was a teenager, he moved into a caravan at the side of the house?
Yeah.
What happened? How old was your son when this happened?
About 12 or 13.
12? I thought he was like 23 or something.
No.
So he moved into a caravan.
Yeah. He was just at the side of the house, and we used to go through the back door, and I used to give him food and drink.
Get your hands on a Nextbase dashcam, free family tickets to top destinations around the UK, or a family holiday worth over £2,000. Visit nextbasesummerunlocked.com. Right, so I want to ask you about a few more different holiday experiences now that we've been on the two types of holiday you can go on. We've done the camping, where you carried a bucket of wee and we didn't even have toilets. We also did deluxe holiday to Disney. What did you think of that?
Oh, it was lovely.
Do you remember it started at the beginning of the holiday? It was like Minna we were introducing the children and my niece as well to all the characters. And by the end, all the photos are just me and Christine, normally drunk off a couple of beers, meeting Elsa from Frozen and stuff. We met all the characters, didn't we?
Oh, it was lovely, yeah.
Do you like Disney then?
It was really nice, yeah.
Why is Disney holiday so good? Did you go on any of the rides? You had to go on like the teacup with the toddlers, didn't you?
Yes, that was nice.
Why wouldn't you go on the main roller coaster? The.
Oh, Lee went on though. Katie didn't.
I couldn't get you on one, could I? I got you on one with my mum. Do you remember the scary vampire one where I lied about how fast it was going to go?
Yeah. I didn't fancy the Big Dipper.
Why?
Well, as you get older, you can't do it then.
What do you mean? What, you get sick or something?
Probably, yeah. You just don't do it. It's only when you're younger.
I mean, that is such a poignant image. The day you go, no more roller coasters for me. That's such a bittersweet moment. I'll never forget the day I realised.
I like the vertical ones, and you sat in the cinema.
Vertical? Do you mean virtual?
Yes. Yeah.
Vertical would mean you were going straight up. I mean, that would be about as scary as it could be.
When you're on the roller coaster and all that business.
The pretend roller coaster.
Yes, yeah, I like that.
But
But we didn't go in because it wasn't a child's one. It was made. We just had teacups and.
I'll tell you what we did recently as well, which is another good thing to pack in your car if you're going on a long holiday, you're driving somewhere in the UK, but you want to experience the whole of the universe when you get there. They're becoming quite reasonably priced now, VR headsets. And I think one of the highlights of my Christmas this year was putting the VR headset on Christine. And I've never seen someone scream in such a sustained way for so long. 30 seconds of terror. And then I put the cat just against your arm, didn't you? And you broke the chair.
Oh, God.
You still never managed to walk the plank, did you?
And that was on the television. He had that on Steph's programme.
Yeah, but that went out on Channel 4. But it's a virtual walk the plank. So you put the headset on and it's like you're standing on a plank in front of the skyscraper.
Oh, my God, yeah.
She cannot step out on it. No matter how long we stand there. For 15, 20 minutes, you just can't step out on it, can you?
No. It's very... but once I'd done it, I wanted to go on again. It was good, that, But, so he held my hand, and then I walked to the end of the plank. And then I said, how do I turn back now? And I couldn't, So my sister said, just fly off, pretend you're a bird, like that,
Your guts go when you jump off, don't they? You feel like you've fallen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was good.
Now, dear listener, we've just, we're in, let me show you where we are. We're in this lovely studio. We're being spoilt rotten today. Nextbase are looking after us, making sure we're as comfortable as possible so that our stories will come out silkily from our voice boxes. And a while back we were told you can have whatever lunch you wanted. I couldn't believe it. So I immediately got the furthest away finest sushi sent to my table. And with a fine Prosecco to accompany it, maybe an espresso. Obviously, if I was driving, I would have had sparkling water. I'm not. Christine, when told she could have whatever she wanted, ordered Go on.
A Big Mac meal,
And what did you have to drink?
a Tropicana,
And
Russell's giving me a gin and
oh,
tonic.
it's my fault, is it? I'm the evil dealer. Have whatever you want. If I took you into Showbiz World for one day and said, order whatever you want, just Big Mac, please, and a G&T.
Well, I've not had one for a
I'm milking
couple
the
of years.
system. I'm winning at life.
And I just fancied a Big Mac meal, and I enjoyed it, yeah.
I mean, we're actually, just so you know, listener, we're behind by hours because Christine got a free toy with her meal, and we just couldn't get her back in there. No, not that sort of toy. I was making an innocent joke then, Chris. Where did your head go? Good God, I've just realised what you thought I meant. Bloody hell. Oh, out of the gutter. Talking of food, food's a massive thing when you're travelling. It's a big thing on the road. It's hard to take fresh food in the car off, unless you've got a really posh car with a chiller segment. You've got to think about food you can eat on the move. But it's suited to you, Christine. I've never known someone who's such a fan of tinned food. So you're quite a good traveller because you can pack what you want without it spoiling. You love an Angel Delight, don't you?
Oh, yes, they're nice, yeah.
And when we went away last time, I mean, I'm sorry to mention this, Christine. We went away last time and I went into the cupboard and Christine had got just tins of spam and tinned meat lined up to get her through the week. And I said, are you going to eat that? And she went, no, love, I'll fry it first. So the panic's over. As though frying it first took the edge off of my horror. And you didn't you? You fried spam for your dinner every day because it's the 1950s.
With a tin of tomatoes, a tin of beans,
Yep, tin.
and a fried egg.
See, now, normally I would laugh, but because of what we're talking about food on the road. So if you're going to load up a warm car and you're travelling to a camping destination, you want to take food with you, this is practical stuff. Ice packs only last a few hours. But there was one stage where Christine was house sitting, looking after the cats while we were away. She was feeding my cat cat food.
Only a tiny bit.
No, hold on. The cat food had higher meat content than the meat you was eating. I mean, I'm not making this up. It was 75% meat what I was feeding my cat, and Christine was eating 68% meat from a tin. I don't know, what is the other 30%? Do you never wonder?
No.
No. Right, I want to ask you about butlins. Because you used to do butlins when you were a kid, didn't you? Mm-hmm. What used to tell me about that?
Well, my mum and dad used to take us on holiday, me and my sister.
Yeah.
She's 7 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. So she was in... so we used to do fancy dress. So our Yvonne was in one...
category?
Yeah. And then I was in the other. And so she was dressed as a basket of fruit. My mum made, the costume for her.
Yeah.
And I was a birthday cake.
Right.
Yeah.
That's...
and we each won first prize in our categories.
no way.
Yeah, and my dad, if you won first prize, you didn't have to pay you got free holidays the next year. So that's what we used to do every year.
So you used to get free holidays by dressing as a cake?
Yeah.
It's so much of the previous 3 episodes has just been explained with that story. What's Longford Park then? That was another one of your holidays you used to go on.
Not a holiday.
What is it?
It's a carnival every year.
Tell me about the carnival.
My dad used to get dressed up, and my granddad, and it was the fancy dress. So my dad was an Arabian Night.
What would you be, a Victoria Sponge at this point? Muffin?
Hula girl, actually.
A hula girl?
Hula girl with a grass skirt on and then.
Right, so Hawaiian type vibe.
Yes.
Right.
And I was dressed as that. I was only young. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying I won first prize, but my dad did. And then my granddad got dressed up as well.
And what did your dad come dressed as?
Probably a cowboy or something like that.
Yeah.
And as I say, they used to argue who's going to win, who's going to got first prize, I mean, it's more or less my dad, I think.
And
my dad
was he in Arabian Nights as well, did you say?
Yes. Oh, he had the whole costume. It was lovely. And all made up,
It's like, I mean, it shows how times have changed, because if we went out now with me as an Arabian Night and you as a Hawaiian hula girl, we'd probably just be attacked by vegans and killed for offending so many people at once.
But it was lovely pageant day. As I say, it was only one day out the year. And in 1987, my daughter was the Rose Queen So we had all her floats to dress up and everything, and
You
making
don't see that
all
anymore,
these
do you?
flowers.
Floats and pageants, it's
they
gone.
stopped it. Yeah, it's a shame. But she, with her being the queen, she got picked up by a limousine. Me and my husband used to get into the car, and then they used to
You'd get
take
in
you
the
to the
sidecar.
park.
Yeah.
It was lovely, and she was the Rose Queen at the time, and it was the best time, And we had some real fun, some lovely memories.
Oh, it's another era. It's a sort of vibe we're going back to this summer, I feel, and summer 2020. We've gone back to those sort of more wholesome staycation type activities.
And my nephew, he was a little sailor on her courts, He was a sailor. He was only about 4 or 5, We all got involved with it, It was lovely. So we've always had connection with the carnival.
Very nice. So just to finish off talking about food and to wrap up this episode, Brits, when they go abroad, notoriously, if there's not egg and chips, we just panic. Now, Christine, I've been abroad with you, and I've seen you send a salad back to the kitchen because it was cos lettuce and not iceberg.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, how on earth do you ever survive abroad if you can't even take a cos iceberg substitute?
Well, to me, the other salad, the greenery stuff, was like grass to me. I like the iceberg lettuce, and you know what you're eating, and nice and crispy and all that. And yes, it's lovely.
Yeah, but when you go abroad though, do you never tempted to try any of the foreign? What is it with Brits? We love to be in a local bar, drinking.
Well, when I used to go abroad with my husband, I used to, in the end, towards the end of the week, I used to like egg, chips, and beans.
Oh right, so you really sort of branched out from British cuisine by the end of the holiday. Because to have beans with it, that's very Mediterranean, isn't it? I give up.
It was egg, chips and beans, and honest to God, it was lovely. Really enjoyed it. And I made a chip butter, Yeah, it was nice.
Oh, Christine, this is why we love you. Anyway, we've come to the end of this journey, episode 3, best and worst holiday. Was it a holiday or were you holidazed by that bean and chip finale? Me and Auntie Christine are going to park our car, switch off our dash cam, and we've reached the end of episode 3. We will be back with more chat. So do join us again. Bye-bye.
Bye.